Good morning, everyone. Got your coffee? I've got mine. So listen, before I get started saying what I want to say, I really don't have much to say today. I say that all the time, don't I? But I really don't have a lot to say today. But I do want to say thank you so much to Cynthia. Cynthia, thank you so much for supporting the library pantry. We appreciate it. We really do. I also want to say that I feel better today. I feel like I can go and distribute some senior bags today. And so my husband is off today and we're going to do that. I'm not going to get out of the car. I'm going to stay in a nice warm car and my husband's going to drop the bags off. We haven't been able to do that because I haven't been feeling well. So we've been having them do porch pickups for those who can, send someone to come get them. But I felt bad because I haven't been able to take bags to the homebound seniors in the community. And yesterday evening was the first time that I left my home in what seems like forever. We had a runoff election, so we had to go take care of that business. I don't even know if my candidate won or not. I guess I'll find out later. But anyway, thank you again, Cynthia, for helping out with the library pantry. It is truly, truly appreciated. Yesterday, I hadn't cooked in a while because I've been sick. But I made a pot of Kapuzniak soup. If you've never heard of it, it's basically a sauerkraut soup. Now, I'm not super fond of sauerkraut, and you never could have told me that I would love this soup like I do. My husband loves it too, but then he's a sauerkraut eater. And it's a Polish soup, and being someone that likes to cook, I pull from all cultures, which is one of the reasons why. And I always think this when I make a recipe from a different culture. I always think to myself, it's just such a shame that we can't all just get along. You know what I'm saying? Because I really do appreciate the beauty in all cultures. All cultures. And it just really is so sad that people don't understand the culture that, the black culture and across the diaspora. But here in America, the way we're just so underutilized because people are so hateful. I don't know, when I'm in my kitchen and I'm cooking international foods, I always think about that. Why it is we just can't all get along and why we're so petty to divide ourselves by such insignificant things like color. I mean, not that it's wholly insignificant, but when it comes to how we should be treating each other and how we should take value in one another, it's pretty insignificant. It's a pretty insignificant thing to care about. And I hate that being black, I have to care about it as much as I do because I am so hated simply because I am black. I don't know if we talked about the incident about the young lady because I've been talking about it on social media where she went to the hospital and, you all seen the video, 12 minutes away from giving birth. And you have this white nurse who's sitting there, and it's racism. She's sitting there just really not giving a fuck that this black woman is moments from delivering her baby. And she is screaming her head off. And this white woman doesn't have not a care in the world. Like I said in another video, this is literally why all of my doctors are black. Because I don't trust white healthcare workers. I've had some of the worst experiences with those people. I could tell you some stories, but I'll spare you. Well, that woman didn't get fired, by the way. The hospital has launched an investigation, but she didn't get fired. There's a rumor going around that she got fired, and she didn't get fired. And I hear that that's common practice. That's why she was so comfortable doing that. Well, another video surfaced where she's showing the same inconsideration to a black patient who's having seizures. And then another video is now circulating. And I posted that one over in the village where there's a second black woman who is being removed from the hospital. Mind you, she's not irate. She's not She's not even screaming. She's just trying to control her labor pains. And they put her out of the hospital, and she has her baby 8 minutes later in her husband's truck. I love black people. I love us. And seeing us suffer so much simply because we're black. You know, this man has come into office, and these people are showing up on their jobs. Not that they didn't always, but now it's just much more overt. They're showing up on their jobs, and they're doing the most harm imaginable to black bodies. Do you see this video that's circulating? It's gone viral, where there's a white code enforcement officer, a woman, and she takes Clorox and pours it all in the street vendor's food. I believe this was a Latino street vendor, to make the food inedible. They are showing up on their jobs, and they are being so ridiculously harmful. And whenever I go out into the world, I encounter at least one of these hateful souls. Someone who just wants to make sure that I have a bad day, or if not a bad moment, if it's within their power to do, simply because I am black. That's why I go nowhere without this body camera anymore. I don't go anywhere without this little motherfucker anymore. As soon as I step into an establishment, I got this thing on and going. I got it on and going. Because it's been incident after incident after incident after incident where we are being harassed or somehow victimized by the hatred of white people. I have these conversations with you all because I'm trying to say, I'll be the first to say it's not all of them. It's not all of them. But most white people are racist, and that's just the truth. Most of them are. And there are levels to that madness. Some of them are down here on the bottom, meaning that they won't necessarily do anything to hurt you, but they still wish the best for you. Till you got them all the way up here on the top that are going to do everything and anything within their power to make sure that life is harder for you, however they can make it harder for you. And we have to learn how to identify these people. They are everywhere. They are in our children's schools. They are in the hospitals. They are in the court systems, the judicial systems. They are in our government. They are everywhere. And you have to know who your enemy is in order to keep yourself as safe as possible as a black person. We do. You know, my mother once told me, she said that I was an extremely jaded person. I don't think that I'm jaded. I think that I'm someone who just looks at the truth and acknowledges it for what it is. And that's just facts. Most white people are very, very racist. And I told you yesterday that I am not a safe Negro. I am not a palatable Negro. I am the kind of black person that's going to always call that shit out. Whether it's medical racism, legal racism, covert racism, overt racism, a microaggression, if it's in the form of a microaggression, if it's in the form of a macroaggression, I'm going to always call that shit what it is. Racism. You know, those aren't the only ways that we are suffering. You know, the first of the month, I always do a little prayer. And I pray for the people who are barely able to afford their rent or their mortgage. I do this every month, the first of the month. When I pay my mortgage, I send that little prayer up. And I saw this story about extended on, I believe it was like Good Morning America or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. And it was recently. And it was about a story about extended stays and how they take advantage of poor people. And poor people who have bad credit because they are poor and who are not being paid a livable wage. And you know, when you have bad credit, you can't rent anything with bad credit. And if you don't have first month's rent, security deposit, and last month's rent all at once, that's another barrier in your way. So you have these extended stays, and they take advantage of a lot of black people. And when this new housing crisis developed, renting crisis developed, they started noticing how people were going to stay in these extended stays. And well, long story short there, they've raised the prices, and it's just a trap. You're so busy trying to pay that $1,200 a week or whatever it is, $800 a week extended stay, that you can never save up any money. And it's the last step before people become actually homeless. And so I've been noticing all these videos on TikTok where so many of my people are crashing out. Just having full crash outs. I mean, it's the white folks too, but I don't really pay them attention because, I mean, if you wasted your privilege, shame on you, you know. But circling back to my own community, seeing especially black women crash out, because so many of them lost their jobs due to no fault of their own. But a lot of them are just working 2 and 3 jobs, just trying to keep a roof over their heads. And I saw, you know, on TikTok now you can, you know, leave photo comments. And I saw so many comments where people had, excuse me, I'm gonna shake this, I am. Where people had empty refrigerators. Were literally showing us their empty refrigerators. And this was before, during, and after this whole thing with SNAP. And they're being evicted. They can't afford their rent. They can't afford groceries. And people are working. This one lady was explaining how I only get paid twice a month. And you know, fuck that twice a month shit. Once a week is so much better, but that bi-weekly shit, they need to eliminate that, because it doesn't help people. It just helps corporations. But anyway, she says that whole first check goes to her rent, and then the second check goes to other bills and groceries. And she says that she can never pay all of those. So then the next check rolls back around to rent, and then she still doesn't have enough for rent. And it's just this evil cycle of always working and never having any money. And think about how many people are experiencing that here in America. So many people are experiencing that. They are working so hard and they never have any money, which means that, you know what that means? You can't afford joy Joy is going to a coffee shop and sitting down and getting some work done on your laptop and having a nice cup of coffee or matcha. Joy is having a nice lunch or brunch with your girlfriends. I saw one video where one woman said she was losing her friends because she couldn't afford to go out. Joy is being able to have a nice dinner out, a date night, you know, with your lover. You know, joy is being able to go and find that sweater, buy that sweater that you were admiring. Or a trip to Sephora. Maybe not Sephora, but Ulta, maybe. Buying a new lip gloss, new dress, new pair of shoes, a vacation, going to the club, going to the beach, just having a vacay. Nobody can afford to do those things anymore. They can't either, which is why they're becoming even more bitter towards us. Because there's still a lot of us who can, mind you. And trust me when I tell you, they are taking notice. But I feel so sorry seeing so many of us having to struggle to just survive. Women and men. If you work 40 hours in this country, you should be able to afford joy, pleasure. And it's so sad that so many people can't. And just beware of the others. Because as life gets more difficult for them, they're going to attempt to make life more difficult for us. Watch your backs. Told you I didn't have a lot. That's all I wanted to say today. Y'all have a good day. Have a righteous day. Don't be anybody's problem today. If you can help other black people, help other black people today. If you'd like to support the platform, help out with the library pantry, or just buy me a cup of coffee, I'll leave my Cash App and my Venmo down in the comments. Y'all have a really good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.